In this week's video, I make a big improvement to my garage workspace for less than £50. Let's go and see. For a while now, I've been thinking of ideas to brighten up this garage space and make it a bit more fresh. A friend of mine suggested that I paint this breeze block wall in white, which will really look good, brighten it up. But he also suggested leaving the brick walls in brick because they look good. So I'm not going to be painting those. The product I'm using is this Sandtex smooth masonry paint in pure brilliant white. Doesn't need any sealing before I apply it, which is good. And it's probably going to take 2 coats. Moving on to the floor, and I'm thinking a grey workshop kind of paint. And there are a whole bunch of different types on the market, so I need to do some research to get the best and most hard-wearing one that also doesn't cost the earth. To paint this wall properly, I've got a lot of stuff to remove, and I want to do it properly. I'll also need to move this bench out of the way in order to access the wall behind, and that's not something I can do by myself because it's bloody heavy. I have an array of products here, so I'm just going to have to get these down onto the floor. It may look organised, but don't worry. I'm not that anal that they're in alphabetical order. Unfortunately, I'm expecting to encounter a few of these along the way, and I'm terrified of them. And it's actually quite embarrassing being 6'1", built, and scared of a creature that's smaller than my thumb. I'm probably going to do this in stages, so I'll strip this lot off the wall up to about where the TV is and get things done there, and then I can do that corner another day when I've got help to move the bench. Do I really need that many straws for WD-40? BMW cooling fan clock. I like this thing. My dad's number plate from his car. My aviation related number plate. I think you can tell what my favourite aircraft of all time is from this. Unfortunately, I don't have a car new enough for me to fit this to. So it's just on retention currently, but it's okay. Fiat 500, a car that I was obsessed with as a boy, and to this day I'd still quite like one. Classic Beetle. Another car I had an unhealthy obsession with, and I've owned a couple of those over the years. Bloody uncomfortable, but nice to look at. They make a lovely sound if you like petrol lawnmowers. And last of all, the Mini. Owned a few of those over the years as well. Now I'm hoping I used wall plugs on these so the holes don't crumble. It says to stir the paint thoroughly at the start and throughout, so I'm going to do this for a few minutes. It says to leave 3 to 4 hours between coats, so let's go. It actually covers quite well, but you do need to kind of dab at it to get it into the little holes, because these breeze blocks are pretty rough formed and it's soaking up this first coat quite quickly, which is what I predicted. And here comes a spider to get in my paint. Hopefully it thinks better of it and scurries off somewhere else. I pay the mortgage on this place, not you. Some people might be saying, why aren't you using a roller? But to be fair, I wouldn't be able to get it into all the recesses. So whilst this is a little bit annoying, it's probably going to be the only way for this job, at least for the first coat anyway. That's about 2 hours worth of work. Progress is quite slow because you've got to get the paint into all the little nooks and crannies of the blocks. But the second coat's going to be a lot easier. I think it already looks a lot brighter like that. Think how white it would be with the next coat. It's the next day and it looks like a bomb's gone off in here. The Z3s had to spend the night outside and it rained. Oh God. Anyway, this is the point we're at. I'm going to do a second coat here and then we can worry about this bit after, because I want to get those shelves and all that back up there, so this is then a functional garage once more, because the weather is terrible at the moment and I'm really not happy with my Z3 getting soaked out there. And just like that, the second coat has been applied. And here we are, second coat complete, shelves back up. I've sorted out a few things, got rid of a few things that were empty. So everything that's here now is usable. Still work to do in this corner, but I've given it a nice edge there, a nice stopping point, so it doesn't play out with my OCD too much. And then when I'm in a position to get help lifting all of that out the way, I can do the rest of that wall and behind the TV. Now I have to say, this has really brightened up the room. I mean, it's obviously a lot more reflective than grey, and it just gives the whole room a bigger, more airy feel to it. So if anyone wants to brighten up their garage, I highly recommend this. This is an internal wall between this and the other garage next door, so there aren't any problems with damp here on this wall. And as you can see, it's got a DPC damp-proof course down there anyway. I mean, I do have to say that considering these brick walls here are single skin outside walls, I don't actually have any trouble with water getting through, moisture soaking through. I did live in another house where that was a problem on one wall. The wind used to drive the rain into the wall, onto the wall, and it would then come through, but that's not a problem here, which is good. I still have all my things to put back up on the wall, but I'm going to leave that wall to dry properly as it's still a little bit damp in places. None of the things I've put back here are touching the wall, obviously apart from the shelves. But I did this area first, so it is now dry. Now I've got a lot of potential in this garage because I've got quite a lot of loft space. And there's a whole lot more I could do up here. At the moment it's just storage and a couple of aerials. But it certainly is a damn good garage. And it was a driving factor behind buying this particular house. And I spent quite a bit having the electrics done. So I've got plenty of outlets. So a definite improvement. Ultimately, this bench was moved and I was able to repaint the rest of this wall. So it is now complete. Everything is refitted. And I think you'll agree that looks much better now. Much fresher, and it will of course make the spiders easier to spot. I needed 2 of these 5 litres of this product. They were £25 each from the range, and I've actually got about half left for any other repairs and touching in that I need to do to that wall in the future. In an upcoming video, I'm going to be turning my attention to the floor, and one of my friends has offered to donate me some floor paint which he had left over from a job, and I think I'm going to take him up on that offer. And then when the weather is dry again, take care of this floor. So thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you again in another one very soon.